All right, we've got another story to share with you now. And this is a story of a young couple who they actually took me up on one of my offers to replace over $55,000 worth of passive income inside 3 years. And that's what they've done. So their names are Natasha and Zane. Give them a big round of applause. Come up here, guys. Hey, have you got a microphone? Ah, there we go. So,
I'll say a proper hello.
Only Natasha today.
It's just me.
That's okay, we'll have you. So, big journey for you. You've moved back from overseas and all of these things.
Yep, we have.
Tell us a little bit about your story. Why were you living overseas?
Because we couldn't afford to live in Australia.
Okay, where did you work?
So my husband took a job in mining in Indonesia.
Mm-hmm.
We were stuck in a beautiful, gorgeous place called Balikpapan, which is just a mining, oil and gas town.
Mm-hmm.
Not much there. If anybody's been there, don't go back. Anybody wants to go, don't bother.
You did start with this. We're living in this gorgeous place. Yeah. So we're all getting excited at that point.
Yeah. So we were based there. We originally went over because we had financially dug ourselves into a really big hole.
Yeah.
And we got a really good opportunity to go over there. Housing.
So it's a bit of a way out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you're living over there. Probably not a huge amount of opportunity for you.
No, I wasn't allowed to work. As I was there as a spouse on my husband's visa, I wasn't allowed to work, wasn't allowed to do anything other than volunteer work over there.
Mm-hmm. So real estate was it?
Real estate in Australia was it.
So how did you find I Love Real Estate in the community?
Well, we actually left Balikpapan and the whole town kind of shut down. Mining went right down, oil and gas went down, lots of people got made redundant, sent home. We were lucky enough that we were the only Caterpillar family to be held onto, and they shifted us to Jakarta.
Caterpillar as in the company?
Yes.
Right. Otherwise, what's a Caterpillar family? Okay, yes.
Sorry. So they shifted us to Jakarta, and so we left all of our friends that we'd had for 4 years, moved over to Jakarta with all the smog and you can't see the sky and traffic nightmares like you would not believe. Sydney people you wouldn't even understand. So we moved to Jakarta and I was really bored. I had no friends, couldn't go anywhere because you'd sit in traffic and then you'd get where you're going and have to turn around and come back. So I was sitting, and real estate's always been a passion of mine. My stepdad was a developer, but I was kind of always told it wasn't a woman's.
Ooh.
You know, women don't do that.
Ooh.
He was a really old school, you know.
I'm cringing here.
And we had tried a couple of deals before we went over that went really, really badly. But anyway, so 2016, we were sitting, end of 2016, scrolling through realistate.com, as I did a lot of the time. And
so that was your porn over there?
Yeah.
Real estate porn, yeah.
So then I came across your little I Love Real Estate Dimna ad, and I was like, I should sign up for that free webinar. So I did that. Sat down, locked myself in a room while the kids were out running amok in the house and watched the webinar. Or listened to the webinar.
Yep.
Over the years, I'll have to put in there, over the years my husband has been really, really supportive. I've started courses, not finished courses. I've bought property that's lost us lots of money, done really bad stuff. So here he was.
How did he handle then? You doing it again?
Here he was in Vietnam, I believe, at the time, and I ring him. Babe, guess what? was like, what? I was like, I've got an idea. He said, oh, no. I said, but, oh, this is going to cost me money, isn't it? He said to me. I went, oh, just a little. And I said, can I sign up? And he said, if you want to, do it.
Good. Okay.
Which is great. So I signed up right then and there for the special at the end of the webinar.
Yep.
Didn't want to miss it. And watching all of the people's stories, just like I'm up here now, was part of the reason that I signed on the dotted line, because I always had in the back of my mind, I can't do that.
Yep.
And I banged into my head that day, I can actually. All these other people are doing it, why can't I?
That's right.
And at this point for our whole family, we didn't want to be overseas anymore. The kids had grown up. Our youngest was 10 months when we went over there, and he's now 7. So, and we only got home once a year, so it was hard.
Pretty tough.
And just, I want to just give a fair bit of credit here, because you don't want to downplay it at all, but how much support did you have over there? Like Zane obviously did say go and do it, but how supportive really was he of what you were doing? And also your father's, had brought you up a certain way too, hadn't he? So what was your mindset going into that?
It was hard. Zane didn't want to buy any more property when we headed overseas, because we'd lost so much money, and we were really, really struggling. So he was not supportive of all. Yes, he was supportive. Sign up, do what you want. You've got all the time. Why not? But when it actually came to following through, he didn't really want to know anything about it. He signed on the loan application. Okay, you better make this work.
Oh, a bit of pressure there.
So as supportive as he was, he really didn't want us to go down this path.
Okay. But you showed him, didn't you?
I did.
So this was your original position. You had 2 properties, both very negative. So not a good position to be in. And what was the process from there? So,
okay, so property 1 was actually our PPR at the time, and we sunk a lot of money. We sunk over $100,000 into that property to make it what we wanted, as everybody does pre-DV. And then we bought a block of units, because we kind of always had the idea that, we needed a multiple income stream. We were kind of on the right track.
Yeah, yep.
But we didn't do any due diligence. We didn't do a feasibility. And we couldn't complete the deal, basically. We bought it. We renovated 1 unit out of the 4 and ran out of money. And then had all of the costings that went along with that, empty units. It was a bit of a disaster.
Okay. So we're starting from not a good position. We've moved overseas. So the first deal was probably fix your PPR.
Yes.
So what did you do?
We sacked the agent for starters, which saved us quite a bit of money. And I had all the time to do it from there. We've got a great support network in Townsville, so my parents are really helpful. We found reliable tenants that actually paid the rent and looked after the property, so we didn't have any missing money that way. And we did a little bit of renovations on things that were costing us money time and time again to fix.
Yep.
Band-Aid fixing approach. So we fixed up that one. And
basically sold it, did you?
No, it's actually under contract right now.
Yeah. Okay, so initially then it was to fix up to get a better yield.
Yes,
right.
and we did. It was up until we sold it, selling it. It's positive. Well,
okay.
Neutral.
Okay. So the second property was a reorganisation of an existing property too?
That's right. So this one we actually bought while we were over there. I bought it offline.
offline or over the
online,
internet unseen.
yeah. Yep.
That's right. Now the truth comes out. Right.
And it was actually really negative. And when we bought it, we got it for a really good price. I got to chuck that in there. These two were pre-DB, by the way, pre I Love Real Estate. Okay. So this one was just a standard 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom that I had convinced Zane that we just buy a really safe property just to warm you up again. And it turned out that the agent that we bought it from had just put in tenants that couldn't afford the property. They were running drugs out of the garage. They were trashed the house. They hadn't paid rent in a month when we settled.
Was it actually a meth lab?
No.
That's good. I just want to bring that point up. If any of you buy a property that's been used as a bit of a meth lab or a drug lab or anything like that, there are massive, massive things that you've got to do to rehabilitate the property afterwards. So don't go in thinking, it's a quick reno. There's a lot of rehabilitation stuff that has to happen from a hazardous perspective. Anyway, just a side point.
Yeah. So by the time we got it into court and got these people out of the property, we'd lost
more money.
And they'd trashed the house, which, so...
So you renovated it? So you renovated it, yes? Increased the rent?
We fixed it up and we actually turned it into a rent by the room.
Good. So now we're a little bit positive.
Well, yeah, but at the time, you could imagine my husband, right? When we had to go through all of this, go to court, no cash.
He's really happy with you at this point, yeah.
And then I signed up to I Love Real Estate.
So, deal number 3 is what then?
Okay, so there's a bit of a funny story to this. So I bought this one over the internet also.
Sight unseen.
But I didn't have a choice.
We've got to be fair here. She's in another country.
I know.
And I was a bored housewife with nothing to do. So this one I bought, it was a 1970s. Nothing had been done to this property since it was built in 1970.
Now I'm starting to like it.
And I had planned to settle and start the reno while I was there for a couple of months holiday. Mm-hmm. It didn't really go as planned. I wasn't there and had to employ extra people to get it all done. However, it turned out really well. But then we bought it for $201,000. We spent $90,000, got revowed at $340,000, which was an uplift of $50,000. And
it's positive cash flow.
Well, yes, it wasn't going to be. We had a real estate agent go and give us a rental appraisal. And they came back and said we could probably fill it for $300 a week.
That's negative. Yep.
And I went, that's not going to cut it. So I was sitting there and we hadn't had any interest. I'd advertised it as a rental and we hadn't had any interest. And I was sitting there and so I had dumped all of our money into this. We'd been expatting for like 5 years and the rest of our money went into this deal. And I was sitting there and I said to my husband, right, I'm going to spend the last $10,000 we've got in the bank. And he looked at me and he goes, oh my God. I said, no, I've got a really great idea. And he just sees dollar signs, right, going down the drain. And I said, I'm going to buy furniture and we're going to make it an Airbnb. Mm-hmm. So that was on the Monday. I put it up on Airbnb on the Tuesday and I thought, it's in Townsville, it's not in a great area. We might get someone. We'll just see, if we get any interest. Hadn't bought furniture or anything at this stage. On the Wednesday, we got our first booking for the Friday for 2 weeks. And I wasn't there. So then I'm online and I ring him. Yep. Hey, Mum, want to go and set up an Airbnb house for me? So I bought everything online. I had it picked up, set up, the people came, they stayed 2 weeks, and they're actually recurring guests that I still have to this day. And it runs about 17K cash flow, that's after all my costs, a year.
So husband's happy now?
He's happy now. So then I go to him and I go, how about we do another one?
So what's the next one?
Okay, so I also bought this over the internet.
Be fair, she's in another country.
I haven't been home.
Okay. I hope somebody's looking at it. Like a
I did
like
have
a building inspector or somebody.
So this was a dual lot single title in Townsville. That's actually that picture that you see there of the plan. That's actually what we changed it to. It was, if you see on the right-hand side, there's 2 really skinny lots. That's what it was before.
So it's a boundary realignment.
Yeah. So I saw this and it's exactly what I was looking for, was a dual lot single title.
Great.
And I picked it up for $275. We wanted to keep the front house because it was actually in really good condition. It just needed a bit of TLC, so we gave it a quick renovation. When I say we, I say me from Indonesia and my team in Townsville. And we did the boundary realignment. It got revalued at $390, and we actually decided to vendor finance to sell it. So they actually pay all of the outgoings and a rental on top of that. So, and they actually wanted the back block. We were going to sell the back block off. We were going to do all the civil works, and they actually came to me and said, "Would like to buy that for $100K."
So you're going to sell that or not?
Yep. So they've got
so
the whole lot.
straight chunk, $165,000 profit. Is hubby happy yet?
Hubby's really happy because that then gave us another $27K cash flow as well.
Very good. Okay. So a few other things here.
Okay, so like I said, we've been in Indonesia for 7 years, and in August this year, we were able to move back to Australia.
Yay.
So not having the I Love Real Estate community, this wouldn't have even been possible. We'd still be over there. And it was the health of our youngest. We couldn't stay in Jakarta anymore. He's got really bad breathing problems, and they got really bad, and he's been in and out of hospital for the last couple of years. So the pollution there wasn't helping, and we really needed to leave. So we came back to Australia in August, and I picked up this because my other Airbnb was going so well. I put out my feelers to a few family in Perth, and I picked up this co-hosting deal, which gives me an extra $6,000 cash flow a year just for co-hosting.
Somebody else's house.
Somebody else's unit.
You manage the Airbnb on somebody else's house.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So I've got a good cleaner and stuff, so I just send out emails and messages, and
which you've become very skilled at from overseas.
Yes.
Managing deals from overseas. So a few more important things than money, obviously the story with your youngest. Some kids there, beautiful little children.
Yep, so that's the photo of us waiting.
Bunnings. Sausage sizzle at Bunnings.
Yeah. All kids love the Bunnings sausage sizzle. You don't get that in Jakarta. That photo of all of us down there is waiting to board our plane out of Jakarta for the final time.
Yay.
So that was great.
So a few of the things you're learning. So what did you learn, and what advice would you give?
Do the study. Mm-hmm. People always tell me they can't go to boot camps, they can't attend live
events.
Yep. I've been to one boot camp, which was last year in Perth, and that's it. This is my second event, and I did all of this online. And it was really hard because I can't even get the I Love I can't even get the I Love Real Estate site in Jakarta because it's blocked. So I had to then go in and buy a VPN and then put a VPN on and stream it, and can't sit in the car and watch it. I had to be at home, and so basically, if I can do it, anybody can do it. And the community, I've made some really great friendships in the community, and if I want to know something, I just put the question out there online, and everybody comments, and it's just a great community. Same with everybody that works for Knowledge Source and all the guys here. I've found it really easy to push through, I guess. So, don't buy off the internet. Go and look at a property. If I had have been in Australia, I probably would have been able to make a lot more money than what we have, because we did get stuck on the 2 deals that we did do, and they probably would have been a lot more positive or
but you still
more
did well.
uplift. Yes.
I mean, with all the difficulties and everything else, you still did well. Yeah. So let's have a look at your final results there. You've gone from negative to look at this, $71,000 positive from Jakarta. Pretty stoked about that?
I'm so stoked, and I really love to show my husband too. Go. And I always make a point that the 2 properties we purchased early on were, both of us purchased them, and the property 3 and 4, I kind of did it on my own. So, but he's actually looking for deals.
Yay! We've converted him, have we?
Yes.
Yeah,
so he sits online, and he actually found the one that we're working on now.
Yep. So
one? No, next one. This one. So he actually found this, and he said to me, "Babe, I printed you off a picture on A3 paper." I said, "Oh,
A3 paper.
A3.
Oh, must be a good deal."
And I was like, "Oh, okay." And he pulled out a plan, an aerial shot of a property, and this is it. And this is what we're looking at now. We're in the really early stages, but it's good that he looks at property, and my 2 eldest boys will be driving around in the car, and they'll go, "Hey, Mum, look at that place. Is that on a big enough block, do you think? It looks really unkept. Look at the lawn. I reckon that's a doer."
And how old are these kids now?
So 12. The twins are 12, and we've got a 7-year-old.
Oh, that's good.
So
good. Hey, tell you what, I started my kids coming to boot camps when they were 12. Mind you, they didn't learn a whole lot, but they still came. So get them starting to come along and listen to the things online, etc. So is this your job now? I Love Real Estate?
I'm hoping so. We need a little bit more cash flow. I'm not actually working at the moment, so this is what I'm
good. So you've got more time to get cracking now. You can actually see properties before you buy them.
I can. So yeah. So
fantastic story. Let's give Natasha a big round of applause. Good on you, darling.
Thank you.